Hey, what's going on? It's Stokely from Sauce on Delay. When you think about it, speech is not free. You talk about freedom of speech. Speech is not free because you have to pay for what you say. You know what I mean? Um, if it's if it's offensive, you got to pay for it. If it's something that you should not have disclosed, you have to pay for it. So, speech is not free. It's not free. There's consequences for what you say and what you communicate, how you communicate at times. There can be a repercussion, negative repercussion, I should say, negative consequence of your speech. So it's really not free. You have to be very careful with it. And that's something that I got to learn, something I got to learn to be quiet many times and to just either speak introspectively, speak to myself, or just take notes. Just take a note instead of like when the teacher's in the class and the teacher's teaching, you don't talk while the teacher's talking. You know, you listen and you take notes so you can prepare for the test. Sometimes people are saying something to you or doing something to you that you don't like, whatever the case may be. Yeah, you got to defend yourself in certain situations. But sometimes it's whatever. If it's in regards to their opinion, and if this opinion is going to materially or physically affect you, um, and this opinion is probably used to just offend you psychologically and attack your brain, and via your mind attack your spirit and your whole vibration, it might be best to just take a note of that offense. Just take a note of the offense and recognize it for what it is if you can. But sometimes our knee-jerk response, of course, is pain and offense, and we want to respond. We want to, whatever the word might be, we want to rebuttal. We want to refute. Um, Not everything necessitates that, so we don't have to talk all the time. And I have to get back into practicing that kind of behavior when I don't respond to things. Um, I didn't really have anything specific to say right now. I follow a guy on social media called Dr. Amen. First time I encountered him was on PBS Channel 13. He was doing a fundraiser, and he was talking about negative thoughts. And I see a lot of his content is being posted now. He's has a significant social media presence now, and that's wonderful because his perspective on things I think is a very understandable, clear, and but at the same time revolutionary in a good way, um, about thought patterns. And he says, get up in the morning and say that this is going to be a great day. Start off with some positive thoughts. I just made a post talking about how most of our thoughts are negative, and he is one of the people whose content I encountered, who stated that the media is pumping us full of negative thoughts all the time, and it's not healthy for you in any kind of way. Um, and he has these cards that he's developed to practice proper, thinking. Then today again, I saw a Bruce Lee post that said, "Never say anything negative about yourself because your body, your cells don't know the difference on whether this is theoretical or actual. So don't do that." But I also heard Baba Dick Gregory say the same thing. Don't don't say anything negative about yourself because you're telling 1 billion cells in your body something negative. So don't do that. So that goes back to the whole manifestation and thinking positive thing. And it's very hard because you know what? Even I was talking to my father um, and my brother today, and they're just we're just shooting the breeze, saying hello and all that stuff. But something happened with me that was good, and I immediately I found a negative in it or whatever the case may be, and that's the part that I wanted to relay because it gives me attention, it gives me pity, it gets me sympathy, it gets me some importance, it gives me some importance, you know So I am also a culprit of this driving negativity and pushing negativity. And while I'm doing it, you know, I'm realizing that I'm doing it. And by the time I'm done, it's already out. So I try to practice a mantra of saying that I'm more fortunate than most, and everything is blessed, and I'm giving thanks. Those are my typical responses to how you are doing. My typical responses to how you're doing is, I'm more fortunate than most, or everything is blessed, or I'm giving thanks. Those are my three go-to mantras when anyone asks me how am I doing, or anyone greets me. So those aren't necessarily energetic, positive things. They're relatively solemn responses. They're not really energetic and positive. Like some people, you meet them, they say, "How you doing?" They say, "Wonderful." There's a guy, the tech support guy in my job, one of the tech support guys. You ask him, he said, "He's wonderful, stupendous," all these other stuff like that. And I'm looking at him like, what's wrong with this guy? Why is he so enthusiastic? Why is he so positive? You know what I mean? We don't encounter that much, so it seems strange. It even seems strange to me, someone who is trying to advocate for that kind of behavior. And it's multifaceted also because, even in the environment of the low vibration, self-destructive PTSD ghetto environment, you don't want to show too much enthusiasm because you make yourself a target. Even though I don't operate nor move in those circles as much, you don't want to show too much optimism, enthusiasm, or whatever, because you make yourself a target. You make yourself look weak, or you make yourself look like you have something that someone else does not. So you're making them feel inadequate by your joy, enthusiasm, whatever. Because like I said, these people are many people in this so-called quote-unquote ghetto mentality, suffering from PTSD, low vibration, anti-intellectualism, etc., etc., etc. And I still hold on to some of those thought patterns. Unfortunately, it's just on occasions when I'm consciously focusing my thoughts that I can get over and around that kind of behavior, because it's almost ingrained. It's almost, I don't even know what to call it. It's ingrained. It's programmed. It's just knee jerk, So that's why it's very important to get out of certain environments. But the strange thing about that is, eventually one day you're going to encounter someone from that toxic environment, and you won't even know that you're making yourself look like a target. You won't even know that you're making them uncomfortable by just being happy. You may come from a loving, supportive, positive environment. All of a sudden, somebody's asking you, what are you smiling about? What are you looking at? And that might, depending on the situation, it could go anyway. It's not good if somebody's asking you that. What are you looking at? Or why are you smiling? Those are pretty much never good questions when somebody asks you that. Those are jealousy, hate, envy. I think covetousness is like you want to steal something. Like you're thinking about stealing something or taking something from someone. Anyhow, yeah, but trauma, hurt people. So it's in our interest to spread positivity in the environment. Like I said in my earlier post, I'm going to eat negativity and poop out rainbows. But yeah, I don't really got much to say. Thanks for listening. I have a lot to learn. Having a mantra, I think, really helps me. Having my select phrases that I use when I speak is helpful, but eventually, if you speak to me long enough, you see that I'm not thinking in a positive light. I'm pessimistic and I'm just anxious and just anticipating something negative. I don't know what it may be. Thankfully, I don't know what it may be. Thankfully, I'm not thinking of anything specifically, else I might manifest that. But that negative bias, that repetitive negative thought pattern, is something that I struggle with, like 80% of the population. But I think what I wanted to talk about, and the thought just came to me and it went right back out again. Let me see, what is it? What is it? It's, oh, sports. Oh yeah, that's what I want to talk about. I listen to a lot of political content, and like I said, it's it's I would say 100% fear mongering. Politics incorporates like, especially the campaign section, the campaign portion. Politicians' campaign is just a whole fear mongering exercise, not a joy mongering exercise. Not saying, listen, we like this, and we love this, and we enjoy this, and that's what we want. No, it's like, you have this, somebody's taking this from away from you, somebody's gonna hurt you, somebody's gonna do this to you. This is gonna happen to you if you don't vote for me. If you don't vote for me, all these bad things are gonna happen to you. If you vote for me, all these good things are gonna happen to you. No, 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 no. It should be, listen, we want this, we like this, and this is what I'm supporting. We want this, we like this, and we are supporting. And that's moving in a positive mindset. But listen to Dr. Amen, because he puts it in he's been doing this for so long. He knows what he's doing. Um, he's board certified and all of that, yada yada. He's got a lot of experience, and even though he's board certified, he's not a conventional by the book, uh, you know, drug dealer or whatever you want to call it. He's against all the sugars, and the low, the simple carbohydrates and the sugars. He attributes that to a lot of dis-ease and a lot of mental issues. Sleep, blue light from the cell phones that disturb your sleep, all these things. He attacks and addresses all of these different phenomena that aren't really part of the human animal's ideal operating system, if you want to call it that. So, yeah, what I was going to say is that, yeah, politics is just like sports, and I somewhat follow politics. I don't follow sports at all. And sometimes I wonder, and I say to people, well, how can you spend so much time sitting down watching a sports game? And ultimately, those people are more efficient than I am, because I spend more time listening to political things, talking about political things, thinking about political things, than they do watching, consuming, supporting sports, tracking sports, betting on sports. I spend more time doing that than they do watching ESPN and all these other things. You know what I mean? So the political coliseum, which I like to watch, I think is more destructive than the sports coliseum that somebody else is watching. And it's more robbing of my time efficiency and my mental energy, that I could be thinking about something that could solve my myriad of problems. So, yeah, I'm no better. I need a lot of improvement. There's areas that I need to improve in. Um, you know, so yeah, man. Sometimes you gotta change venues. I spoke about that before, but sometimes you can't change venues. You gotta change your mindset. So that's why I'm working on changing my mindset, and then I think eventually, if I change my mindset, I can manifest and execute the changing of the venue. So anyhow, thanks for listening. I'm just freestyling. Um, Everything is blessed. I'm giving thanks. Gratefulness is very important, and I appreciate you listening to me. You know, they have some kind of response thing, at least on Spotify, or maybe it's just Spotify for podcasters. I think it's just Spotify for podcasters, but people can chime in. So I don't know exactly what platform you're listening to this on, but I can also be reached at info@sauceondelay.com. If you want to suggest a topic, that would be good. Suggest a topic. That way I don't have to think of anything, because I'm like I said, like 90% of my thoughts are repetitive. So I'm saying the same thing just about every day, aren't I? Anyhow, thanks.